Hey guys, it's Armor001, back at it again with the video games, and back at it again with Destiny 2. I know it's been a while, of course, everything going on with Destiny, playing other games, and we'll get to that towards the end. I have an announcement to make towards the end, but right now, we're going to get to the main portion of this video, and I'm going to try to go through it as quick as I can. So, a very big Pastebin came out, came out, which of course regards leaks for what's coming in the future. Obviously, take these with a grain of salt. We don't know if any of this is true. Some of this sounds pretty plausible, some of it does not. We'll kind of go over that and see. Of course, if you see me looking down, I've got notes. I've written down like a ton of notes of what was said in the Pastebin post. And of course, with what it starts with is Into the Light, which we know is due to the delay. So we're going to start with that, with what we think is going to be in there. So the fact that it was never planned to exist originally, and that due to the delay, they decided to make something pretty similar to the 30th anniversary pack. Although this will be smaller than that content drop, according to this leak. It will be much smaller, which makes sense. It's a last minute thing. They won't have enough time to do it. Of course, as has been confirmed by Bungie, is marketed for new and old players, and it will supposedly bring old campaigns back. It's unknown really which. It's kind of expected to be the Red War and the Forsaken campaigns, which are pretty good campaigns. I think that's interesting, towards the very beginning. For veterans, Bungie plan to update the Vault of Glass and the Garden of Salvation, basically making their weapons craftable finally, kind of like what they did with Last Wish recently. So again, could happen. It's possible. Take these with a grain of salt. Of course, there'll be a system with cosmetics kind of similar to Moments of Triumph that'll be coming alongside with this. There'll also be new mementos and shaders and a new seal, which the name is not known yet. They're also planning to reprise some old D2 strikes, but they also don't know if it would be possible due to the lack of time. If I remember correctly, they said a while ago that they were going to try to bring back Inverted Spire, and we haven't seen that yet. So hopefully we do see something like that. So we're going to see some old legendary weapons that return, but honestly don't really expect more than 5 in terms of like the old weapons. It's definitely going to be there's going to be another smaller like content drop during Into the Light around April or May, which is kind of when it starts. I think that's probably referring to the map pack, which we know is going to have 3 maps. One on Europa, one in the Terraform Pyramid, and I forget where the third one was. I think it was in the Dreaming City. I might be wrong about that, but we'll see. Apparently, too, according to this leak for Into the Light, they're going to be updating the Prophecy loot. So there will be a origin traits and updated perks for the gear in that, which I think is sorely needed. I think the loot is the weakest part of Prophecy. I think I would like to see definitely a lot more new stuff. Here's the thing, which is probably the most believable thing coming with Into the Light. No exotics will come with this content drop. I think that was pretty much a given. I don't think there's no way they were going to be able to create a whole new exotic, have it play tested, have it ready to go in less than 6 months. I don't think it's going to be possible. But yeah, that's really it for Into the Light stuff. Now we're going to get into Final Shape. There's no story spoilers here, which is good. So you don't have to worry about any of that. It's more just content and reasoning. So for Final Shape here, we've got during the delay, Bungie had some internal debates about what to add. They said a new subclass is planned, but unknown if it's coming with the Final Shape or Echoes. They decided to reveal more information about the Final Shape in April. Just in case they can, my guess would be make sure they can lock down some of their stuff first before they announce anything. They don't want to promise stuff and not have it be able to be done on time. In terms of the new subclass, I kind of doubt that. Of course, we'll wait and see. I feel like there will be a third Darkness subclass coming at some point. I just don't think it will be in the Final Shape, but we'll see. So no new dungeon is planned for the Final Shape. It was originally going to be there, but they were not able to make the deadline for it to work. They also went back to remake and change things within the campaign to improve it, make sure it's on par with Forsaken, Witch Queen. Honestly, I think it needs to be above that. This is the conclusion. I think you really need to shoot for the moon for this, but we'll see. They said originally there was going to be 2 new strikes, but with a delay that has now gone up to 3. So they're thinking we're gonna be getting 3 new strikes in the final shape. Again, according to this leak, we're also going to be getting 6 exotic weapons, which we know. I think we know like 3 of those weapons. Because there's the Traveler trace rifle there. There's Kvazstov, and there's this sniper that they showed off that's like a golden gun, they said, but as a sniper. So we know at least there's 3 there. A lot of people thought that Dragon's Breath was going to be final shape, but they brought it over to Season of the Wish, so who knows. They said the D1 soundtrack will be present throughout most of the campaign. I definitely think that too. It's capping off your whole saga. You got to have some of that old music in there. There's going to be 3 new exotic armor pieces. And then here it comes with this. Now, this is... part of this is believable, and part of this I'm like, no, because of the delay. I don't know really if they would have the time. I mean, they were able to do it in Forsaken, but they also had help, from High Moon Studios. But what I'm about to say here is new light supers for each class and subclass. So, of course, we know about the 3 that were coming, right? We got Storm's Edge, we got Song of Flame, we got Twilight Arsenal. But this leak is supposing that there's going to be 1 for every light subclass. I don't really trust that. I feel like that's a way too high, but according to this leak, there probably will be. We'll go over that in a second. But this next thing I actually do believe is that Bungie is making a new system called variants for light supers. And that basically what variants are supers that basically, that they do the exact same thing but with small differences will now be just labeled as variants. So think like the multiple versions of Nova Bomb, the multiple versions of Shadow Shot or Golden Gun. Those will all be folded in to the main super that it's emulating, and then you would presumably click that and then choose which version you want. So it's not going to be its own super icon anymore. It's just going to be folded in, and you get to choose when you choose that specific super, which I think is a good thing. I think it's a very smart way of doing that. So that's what they said they're going to be doing, according to this. It's basically they're there to free up space for more light supers in the future if they want to. But I think that's a smart idea. Also, it's just easier. It's better UI, I think, if they do that. It's a very smart idea. So I'm actually down for that. That seems pretty accurate. Of course, there's going to be new aspects for light subclasses. We've already seen these. There's going to be also more stasis changes coming, which they've mentioned. They were talking about experimenting with frost armor for stasis as a new, verb or subclass status. So I think that'll be very interesting to see. So now we're going to go into the supposedly new light supers for each class and subclass. So we're going to start with the Warlock here. The Warlock's internal name for their arc is the Tempest Weaver. And of course, this is subject to change. And they describe the super as the Warlock will fly into the air, creating thunderstorms that do high damage to enemies inside the radius and jolts and blinds enemies outside of it. This will also grant allies arc weapons Jolt. Again, could be possible. Don't know. Song of Flame has been confirmed. We know what that does. Basically similar to D1 Sunsinger. You get double melee projectiles. You have the Solar Bird Grenade that ignites targets. You can grant Scorch to allies, solar weapons. And then they say with this, Echo of Void, it's unknown what exactly the action is, but we will have a focus on suppression and weakening. That's all they really say. That kind of leads me to believe, like, does this exist? So, I don't know. It could exist, it could not. We'll see. But it just doesn't seem that plausible. Next, we're going to go to the Hunter here. So, of course, this one's been confirmed. Storm's Edge, which is blinking to your arc knife 3 times. And then it will give your allies the Amplify buff. So we know that that's confirmed. This next one is Burning Warrior, which is summon a flaming sword and attack enemies, scorching on hit. Heavy attack launches the sword and ignites on hit. Launching the sword creates a small firewall on the ground. Casting makes allies radiant. Again, Don't know the validity. If this does happen, it's a really cool super. I've always wanted like a sword super for Hunter. If they do this, I really want it to be a katana. Sorry, my light went out. That's okay. I really want it to be a katana. That'd be really awesome if they do this. But who knows? They probably won't. And then next is Shadow's Burden, which is they throw a volatile grenade that pulls enemies close to it and then explodes after 5 seconds, and it gives void weapons volatile rounds. If that's a super, that's pretty lackluster. Again, I doubt that. Titan, this one is also confirmed. Twilight Arsenal. Throw 3 void axes that stick it to the ground and pull enemies in and explode. And then axes can be picked up after the fact and used as weapons. Next here is Fire's Fury. The Titan punches the ground and summons a giant fire tornado that scorches the ground and launches balls of lava, much like the Warlock Solar Grenade, and gives restoration ×1 to allies. We'll see. And the last one here is Thunder Swapper. The Titan punches the ground and creates a blinding and jolting explosion. Now, I don't know if that's true. Jeez, man, the lights really went out. But yeah. Now, again, that sounds very similar to the Fire's Fury. So, again, these could be fake. I would definitely take these with a grain of salt. So that's really it for the new light subclasses. They're going to go into the raid. The raid name, which is subject to change, is Fate of Gods. And it's planned to be harder than Spire of Stars, which we knew already. They've been saying that for a while. The Witness will be the only boss in the entire raid. It will actually change its forms each encounter, with a total of 5 encounters. I've been hearing this from a lot of people. There's a lot of leaks been coming out that have been saying this exact thing, that it's only going to be Witness, it's going to be different forms. So I do kind of believe that. I think that'd be a really cool idea. And it says mechanics will involve the light and darkness. I mean, duh, that makes sense. And it says, after World's First, a new mission will be released that will be to finish the Witness once and for all. Which, again, kind of has been confirmed already. They kind of said it, that there's going to be something else after, that maybe the raid's not going to be enough to kill the Witness, and that the raid seal and the title will be called Witness. So, we'll see that. And that's really it for the raid. There's not a lot of information on the raid. And there's not a lot of information on the campaign either. So all it really says is it's going to be more emotionally focused. Our Guardian will have dialogue, and that the Vanguard will definitely have a major role throughout the campaign. I mean, pretty much assumed. Now this is kind of its own thing here. So this is the new subclass, and even in the notes in the paste bin, it says take with a grain of salt. There's not much known about it, as is still being kept secret. There's not even a name for it. But according to this person, it's kind of like a magical kind of themed subclass. It says that Warlocks will be able to turn enemies, which is, I mean, we were able to do that in D1 with one of the memories from the Iron Lords. I can't remember exactly which one, but one of them. They said Titans will be focused on protection, kind of acting as a white hole, taking enemies away from them, basically. So it's crowd control, like taken away from your, I assume taken away from your allies. I don't really know what they mean by that, but that's what it says according to that. Let me see here. My next page of notes. And then hunters will have red thorns that grow out of their body and will launch towards their enemies, giving ability energy and draining life from the enemies themselves. Again, take these with a grain of salt. We don't know if this is true. The Warlock control effect in PvP will actually invert players' controls. And the launch time is unknown, but it's either going to be Final Shape or the Echoes episode. And that's really it. Again, I don't really believe any of that, but we'll see. Then they're going to go into the destination, the Pale Heart. So Bungie is adding completely new locations that we haven't seen. I remember that was a concern for a lot of people, that because it shapes us to what we've seen, that it was going to be all old assets. I doubt that. I bet there's going to be new stuff. There will be a new 6-player activity within the destination, as well as secrets and a new title, which will be Legend, of course. I mean, that's pretty much a given. And it says one of these new locations that is being teased in the Pale Heart will be specifically endgame focused, which I've heard from a lot of leaks as well. So I kind of think the validity of that is up there, but we'll see. And that's what it really has for the destination. And the last part is about episodes. So there's not really much information about him. And it's kind of very basic, bare bones, which leads me to believe that maybe it's not accurate. But with Echoes, they say that Praedyth and Maya Sundaresh are involved with the story. That Venus will return, but it will be in a smaller capacity. It's not really a lot. And there will be a new Vex-themed dungeon that launches with it. And then we go to Revenant, which will be about the Fikrul, the Fanatic, and the Scorn. And they claim that Wrath of the Machine will return with this. And, you know, the Tangled Shore will also return. Not really known if it's going to be the full destination or the whole destination. The full destination of the whole, that's the exact same thing. Or just a small portion of it. It's, again, not confirmed, so we don't really know. And then with Heresy, of course, it's going to be high-focused. It will launch in 2025, which makes sense because of the delay. Xivu will be the main antagonist, Xivu Wrath, which, I mean, is a given. We knew that. There's not really any word if there's a dungeon coming with it, so we don't know for sure. And then we go with Beyond here. So there will be a new Age of Triumph. Bungie will bring back a similar old destination vendor from the Age of Triumph here. That allows you to craft weapons from the EDZ, the Dreaming City, Nessus, Europa, and, you know, plenty of other destinations. So those will be craftable. There is no big DLC planned for 2025. Instead, there will be a smaller content drop, which that's been flowing around a lot of people. Will there be a big DLC? Will there not be? I don't know. Honestly, I think it would be smart of them to take a break and not do a big DLC drop. I think taking a year off and just doing a smaller content drop and to gear up for the next saga is a really good idea. I think if they do that, I would be totally fine with that. So they say the Final Shape will be the last expansion available for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That seems like pretty much a given. They probably want to transition to the next-gen consoles only. So the next saga code name is Survival. We don't really know anything about that. The next new DLC drop will drop in 2026. And that Bungie is thinking about renaming Destiny 2 to just Destiny. And the reason for that is that they want to take all of the D1 content and fold that into the current game of D2. Now, we don't know if that's true. We don't know if they will do that. I would like it. I would really hope they do. But I really doubt they will. Damn. Sorry, guys. It got really dark. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do this. And then do that. All right. Perfect. And then the last thing that I have written here is that Bungie will update their engine in 2025. They have talked about this, that they want to update their engine. They've been running on the same engine since the beginning of D1, so 2014, for 10 years. So I think it's about time that they change that. So that's really it. That's it for all the leaks. That's all my notes there. So, of course, take these with a grain of salt. I don't think all of these are accurate. I don't think all of these will come true, but it is interesting if some of these do. So, who knows? I'll make my announcement right now, real quick. Of course, with Season of the Wish ending, what does that mean for Destiny content moving forward? I'm kind of not planning to go beyond Final Shape. I'll probably do the episodes. But I don't think I'm really going to come back to do Destiny, but I want to continue making videos. So I think I'm going to start branching out to more variety content. I've been playing Cyberpunk a ton recently. I won't do any videos on that because I'm almost done with the story mode, and I don't have Phantom Liberty. I'll probably get that later, but you know, I don't want to drop you guys right in the middle of the story while I'm doing that. So for variety content, what I'm going to start with is Ghost of Tsushima. So I have that. I haven't played it yet. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to start making videos on that. Hopefully eventually when New Game Plus comes out for Spider-Man 2, I'll do that and I'll stream the story there. I've already played the game, so I had to. I didn't want to get spoiled, so I already know everything that's going to happen, but there's going to be new features. Maybe some DLC will drop with that. So I'm really excited to kind of branch out a little bit more and do other games besides Destiny. So yeah, that's really it. So if you like this video, you know, make sure to throw a like, comment, subscribe. You can follow me on TikTok at SomberShadow001. And thank you guys for listening to my long video. Apagando las luces.